So what they opt to do? Because I looked at it already, but let's go over it. So they want to keep, for the second set, they want to keep the Stimpack change, keep the EMP change, keep the carrier change, and keep the Nexus change. Which is interesting. You think so, Ricky? So these are like these were like the safer choices, I think. This is still a huge buff. Like the EMP buff is very large. Like that radius is absolutely massive. Yeah, they don't want to do the warp and change for Proposal 2. They want to buff. This is Overlord speed, right? And then, which makes sense, but like now we're just gonna see basically like I don't know if BC builds are gonna just be worse now. I think, which is I guess BC builds are strong, like probably too strong. It just feels like this takes away a lot more choice from Terrans. I don't know how big a change this is. Like 25-25 is not huge, but it definitely increases the strength of Overlord speed. Yeah, you could start hiding your fusion core in like random spots. Except Overlords, like it's not. TVZ is a tough one because you hide it in the middle. Like if you're more likely to have your SCV scouted. It's not like a 2-Rex where your SCVs go right away. Like if they park the Overlord at the like base of the nat or the top of the natural, right? You just see the SCV leave and it's over. You know? So I don't think you could just hide a fusion core like mid map because they're always gonna see it. Now, obviously, like that doesn't work against 2-Rex because there's no Overlord there when you send them out. You know what I mean? Do you feel like? Oh, I'll fix it after. I think the lighting's. Did it go back to ISO auto? It must have. Now that I think about it, I'll check after. No, I'm gonna vote tonight. I really don't like that you have to comment in the stupid thread. Ay vey. Can I vote on stream? Am I allowed to vote? Can I vote now? So this seems like oh, hold on. I gotta get back into this. It seems like the fucking like just the biggest bitch change ever. Honestly, really? 200 to 250? What does that even do? That's a terrible nerf. This is like this unit is worth so much more than any number of minerals. Like you'd have to give it like 350 minerals to like finally get to a mineral cost that became like what the Warp Prism is worth alone as a unit. Because what can even kill it? I mean, like you'd have to actually. Can a Viking chase it? I don't think a Viking can. A Viking can, right? But other than that, like a Warp Prism is infinitely microable. You know what I mean? I don't feel like this is a good nerf. They should have added gas. Because the big issue with this is the Zealot Stalker shit with the Warp Prism in TVP, right? So like you didn't even change that. It's like what's 50 more minerals? I don't think this is a good change. This should have gas. This should have a gas component to it if they're gonna nerf the cost. Or it should be like 300 or something. It's not enough. Like it's 2.5 zealots. Yeah, even 250 because what it really does is it just forces another gas from the Protoss. or like forces you to wait longer to like be able to use it. But this is stupid. I don't think this is enough. This is a very, very safe change. If you have to put it like in a very like, you know, G-rated way, this is a very fucking safe change. And honestly, I don't think this is all that good. But then you couple it with the range pickup like change, which doesn't affect TVP that much, which is my only real viewpoint. Like, this is gonna be huge PVZ, right? I don't know. This is good, right? Everyone wanted this, so this is a good change, I think, strictly because everyone wants to test it. Yeah, this is like a pretty. This is a good Warp Prism change, but this change sucks. I think it's still too easy to get, and the Warp Prism's still too good. But I mean, I've always hated the unit, so as far as how easily it changes it just ends whatever game you're playing. I don't know if I'd ever be really happy with it outside of just like doing the Warp Prism warp in nerf. I wish that they had gone through with that. That would have been better. But we'll see because it's not set in stone yet. But I know this is gonna make it in because people seem to be more happy with the moderate change as opposed to like this change, as opposed to the warp-in change, which I think is just better in general. From 6 to 5. Well, because PVZ, it's a big deal, right? Like, Archon Harass is going to be much worse. Nah, 4 is, like, crazy low. I think 5 is safe. Like, this is essentially the safe version. Yeah, of course, because the Warp Prism has to do one range closer. It can get shot from one range closer. Like, it has to pick up sooner. The Archons could do less damage. You know? Medivacs are a different unit. They heal your units too. They have an inherent advantage. Right? And they come with the boost. Not unlike the Warp Prism. I mean, the thing is that this changes the fundamental way that Protosses keep. Yeah, but this changes the fundamental way that a Protoss keeps a Zerg in check, right? Like the Archon Harass is like fundamental to the matchup, if I'm not mistaken. So this is like super necessary, and this is a core mechanic. You know, so I feel like this nerf is actually massive in that regard, but it's completely fucking worthless for TVP. Right? Like, this isn't designed for TVP at all. Like, this won't do anything for TVP. I don't think that it creates too many issues. I think Warpin's fine. Like, if all you had was Warpin and you had slow Warpins on, like, if they did slow Warpins on Warp Prism, like, I think the Warpin mechanic would be okay. Because it can't really be game ending when a Warpin is almost as long as it takes for you to build the units out of your barracks. You know? Yeah, and so this is a big change too. I suppose altogether, this makes for an alright, like, experience, because charge, like, now you warp in a bunch of charge lots in the Terran's main, and they're not that good. Yeah, but then Protoss becomes bad, and they'll just lose everything, and then they'll just get buffed back again. I'm so positive that'll happen, Avex. Like, if the win rate's already pretty close, and then you just nerf the warp gate completely, there's no fucking way, dude. Even though I love to hate on warp gate as much as anybody does, because it feels really stupid. Like, I already know that Protoss needs it. I'm not daft. I don't know, man. That's like maybe post BlizzCon, but you're really fucking with a lot if you were to do that. Yeah, and look how well Starbow did. It's fantastic. Everyone plays it. Let me just go boot up into the super active community that plays Starbow. That's true. That's true. You know? Yeah, no, I think Charge is good. Right? Charge is aight. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I imagine if Zerg keeps performing well. Like, let's look at the thing. Was it really? It was pretty one-sided for Zergs, I guess. Was it? Those two players seem to just be really good. But if you think about it, the finals was pretty balanced, and the round of 8 was pretty balanced. I feel like you're complaining, but it's just stupid, and you should probably stop. Cause like, what were you gonna do here? Have 2 Terrans instead? Like, it was a ZVZ finals, but there were only 4 players here. 2 of them are Zerg, 1 Protoss, 1 Terran. This is quite legitimately like as close to balance as you can get. It is actually balanced. It's like, I don't being like, oh, I'm a Terran. It's like, you should probably stop being biased and start being intelligent. I don't know. This seems silly. Yeah, but it was 3-0 for Hero Marine over a Laser here, and 3-0 for Hero Marine over Sword of here. Right? And special with 3-1. Like, what I see here consistently is Serral and Raynor just constantly bopping the shit out of everybody. Like, I don't really, you know? Nurcho almost did it, though, didn't he? Look at that. Holy shit, it was a reverse sweep, too. Oh, with Protoss nerf to the ground? What about it? I don't know. I don't really know if are these changes like, I feel like this change is going to be huge. This change is going to be massive. The other one I don't think is going to change all that much. PVZ is going to change either way. PVT won't be affected really by this change, I don't think. The charge lot change is huge. You know, this will probably kill the 3-base style alone. Or like that no gas style. This change is actually huge. $150.50. I mean, I guess my thought behind it is like, if they're looking at it from the sense of like going for the no gas style and then making it gas related isn't really a huge nerf there, because they're already not getting gas, they're just getting charge lots. You know? There's no reason. I mean, either you have to make a choice. Is it going to be more minerals or more gas? This is the safer choice because you have more minerals in general. Making it make gas is a bigger change, I think. This is just the safer choice. There's 100% a good reason to do it. Like, you're saying that there's no reason, which is nonsense. There's a reason. It's just the safer way to do it. Instead of being ballsier with the change and doing a bigger nerf. 250 would be way bigger and way more of a nerf than 200. Even 150-50 would be a bigger nerf. Medivacs cost gas? Yeah, but if you made Medivacs cost 250 instead of 100, right? Like, that would actually be bad for Terran. Because all of your bio units are mineral based, except for the Marauder, who's 25 gas. This is bad for TOS. Sure. But it's supposed to be, because your win rate's sick. You know? I don't know what you were expecting. This is supposed to nerf you. I mean, I suppose if you're living in your own world, where Protoss is underperforming, like Protoss does, then yeah, this is terrible. Oh no. You know? But the War Prism makes for bad StarCraft, so I'm unsurprised that this is going to get nerfed. I wouldn't worry about it. Because if I hope that they nerf this, Protoss underperforms for a bit, and then they buff Protoss in a different way. But they reduce the emphasis of the War Prism in general. It's not a good unit for the game. I don't know why you'd want it. The only reason you would want it is if you rely on it to win, and you don't care about whether or not you play good like we watch good StarCraft. Because in reality, this unit makes the game suck. So if you want to keep it around as like the most potent thing in game ending and everyone complaining about it and just like hating life when they play the game, sure, then let's keep it just the way it is. Or we could change it because the game is worse with it as strong as it is. And I don't think anyone disagrees with that, unless you're using it to win the game. Yes, Protoss has just got better. You know? They found a build that doesn't make them take any gas or manage their economy. That's Protoss getting better. Sick. Yeah, because the build, like... I mean, I don't think I agree with that. I think what happened was Protoss has found a way to play the game in such a way that no one likes in every matchup. You know? They managed to figure out how to make PvZ a snooze fest with 2 base all-ins, and how to make PvT a snooze fest. Or, yeah, PvZ with 2 base all-ins, and how to make PvT shit with no gas builds. So now that every matchup sucks, you know, something's got to get done. That's right. Let's blame the Broodlords. But we can't know how good Broodlords are because we never get there. So, good shit. Does that mean I'm going 8 to 12? No, 8 to 1. No, I mean, I don't want Protoss to be bad. I don't want Protoss to have 40% win rate and just, you know, love my life as I win and make Hupsaya cry every day. But I want the game to be good. Right? And the game is not. The game is not good. The War Prism makes the game suck. And the current state of Protoss is easier than the way it was played before. And it's every game that I watch of Protoss play sucks. So... yeah. What's your point, Maokai? I'm late. Welcome to my stream. Good job. Look, I can do it too. It's tough. I'm sorry. Nice all caps. One sec. I don't know, man. I feel like one of these two changes is definitely going through, and I like it because the Warp Prism sucks. So even if I'm surprised that they are doing this Warp Prism change and nerfing the Zealot. That seems like a lot. Like, to me, it seems like a lot that they're nerfing both of these things. Because these two nerfs together are actually pretty huge. This is a huge quality of life change. Filker said that. I mean, Filker will be happy when we finally made it back to Wings of Liberty. So I wouldn't take what Filker says too seriously. He wants to go back to 8 worker starts. Because the game was just too slow. Or sorry, it's just too fast now. I really miss those days of trying to find 6 workers. Sorry, I trying to hunt down the Stargate on the map. I miss those days a lot. Yeah, 8 worker start would be better. 8 or 10, sure, fine, whatever. But 6, come on. No, what I like the other change better than this. But I kind of do want the charge lot to get nerfed. So now I'm really not sure. I don't know which one I want. They also kept the recall nerf. Oh yeah, you guys are getting fucked. Yep. As you should. How's GSL going? I haven't really followed it. He's made it out. Yeah, but that's fine. The Super actually won games? Dude, really? That's incredible. I can't believe Keen made it out. This is so sad because I know Keen is going down, dude. He never makes it out of round of 16. Oh, dude, it's never going to happen, man. What's the distribution now? 4-5-3? Yeah, Trap and Patience are getting out of this group, and Deer will make it out, I think. And maybe not. This could be Gumiho Fantasy. Or Gumiho Deer. Easily, I think. Anyway, I'm not really looking to confirm the bias or anything. Oh, for oof, Bomber, oof. Dude, the thing is that every time Keen does this, he gets dumpstered the next round. And, like, it's even worse that he lost, like he beat, I can't believe it was 2-0-2-0, man. Crazy. I mean, yeah, Infestors will get it if Mass Infestor keeps seeing a thing. I think everyone, including Blizzard, still has Infestor PTSD. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I think they're dealing with the Protoss issues at the moment, and then they'll work their way through. Is my guess. Yeah, but Infestors aren't as strong now as they were then. Like, they're much worse than they were then. Nah, man. Infestors are good, but they're not that good. They're much harder to use. And they are kind of getting a nerf, right? Like, the EMP buff is actually a huge Infestor nerf. Because that increase in size is going to get a lot of Infestors, dude. Like, this is actually a very strong Infestor nerf. Yeah, they are very good late game PvZ, right? Well, they're nerfing the meme, right? Right? They fixed this bug, and there's also a nerf to thing, isn't there? Yeah, but isn't this a huge bug? How much armor? Like, this is huge, right? This bug literally meant that getting +3 armor on the air units was like worthless. Because the Infested Terran was the best anti-air tool you had versus carrier, right? Like when I was watching, like Stefano and stuff play against this, like, yeah, but it wouldn't be like -3. Oh, yeah, but this is a even bigger nerf, isn't it? I feel like the no longer ignoring armor is even bigger than -2 damage. Yeah, -3. Right. So this is much bigger. This is a big Infested Terran nerf. -2 is bigger initially. Yeah, but we're talking about PvZ late game, right? Like, you're saying that it's unwinnable, but if the latest stage of the game, this isn't true anymore, is it still unwinnable? I think you'd have to try it. Oh yeah, -2. How much base armor does a interceptor have, Nick? I feel like this makes a big difference. Oh, it has 0 base armor? Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. The claim that you made was simply that it's not as big, but you made 2 claims, that it's not as big and that the ultra late game's unwinnable, but this is clearly even bigger than the original change as far as the ultra late game's concerned. So I think it's not as bad as you think it is. But what do I know? Oh, interceptors have +1 armor? Like, they have base armor of 1? So this is actually -4 damage. I think, yeah, they have 1? +1? Then what's this +1? Is that mysterious? Oh, okay. Okay, so it gets one armor every time. 1 per upgrade. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they need a unit. It's not like you can't give them nothing. Like, yeah, the bug fix is bigger than the original. Will help TVZ more with BC BattleMech. Yeah, but isn't the number one way that they deal with it neural? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I thought neural was the spell that infestors use in, like, versus BC. You can Yamato an infestor before it can neural. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so it would do really well if that was the case. I thought Neural was the way that they dealt with it, but I guess not. If the BC's Yamato goes off first. No, cuz so the BC's spell would go off no matter what. But the teleport would get canceled. I'm pretty sure. Sure, you can TP during the neural animation, but you can't Q them. Like, I don't think you can Yamato and then Q a teleport, and then the teleport will still go off. I don't think that'll happen. The teleport will get canceled, but the Yamato won't. Right, that does assume you can see the Infestor. Yes. But I mean, at that phase in the game where BCs are a thing, you have extra CCs and you're scanning everywhere. And I think the real key when you're playing as Neural is that you have to be the one to see them first anyway, because otherwise you can't Yamato them. Like, otherwise you lose the exchange, right? If the Infestors like sneak up on you, then it doesn't really matter, because they're gonna get you no matter what. Yeah, exactly. No, it makes sense. Well, yeah, because it's sure. This all makes sense. So, like I said, I think this is a safer change than the other one, but it's a bigger nerf. Somebody said that in the Reddit thread too, and they're correct. Like, each one of these changes is not really that big. This being probably the one that's like the most harsh in any one of Protoss matchups. This is the one that's going to affect PvZ a lot, I think. Because I think Jason brought up an excellent point in the Pylon show that, like, you should always be defending against Warp Prism anyway with, like, a Viking and a turret. So if a Warp Prism gets in, you're just bad anyway. But this is actually a change to the matchup and that is, like, it doesn't matter whether or not you were playing perfectly before. Zealots were a certain amount of strength, and now their army is just worse. Like, it's not like Warp Prism speed, or like Warp Prism warp and speed, where it's like, oh, okay, so you missed the Warp Prism, so now you die. But had you seen it beforehand, like, you would have survived. It's not like that, because this is actually like an actual fighting unit being worse. Just straight up. Right? This is a big deal. This will stop that thing where your army just evaporates fighting against a lot of charge lots. Charge lots will be a lot worse after this change, I think. Right? What does this mean for like concussive? Because now it doesn't do damage right away, so you can actually kite charge lots properly, right? Without taking any damage, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong? They still get a hit? Slightly. Oh my god. Really? Will also allow unupgraded Zerglings the ability to take additional hits from charge without +1 ground weapons, allowing them to be much more resilient to charge-based timings. Okay. Weapon upgrades. Yeah, but wait, hold on. I don't understand. This doesn't say anything about not hitting them. Oh, where is that? It's in bold. Zealots assault. Hold on. After researching charge. Right. I don't know, man. This is still a huge nerf, isn't it? Yeah, I mean... This makes it, what, 3 swipes to kill a Marine? What do they do, 17 damage? Yeah. They do... Yes. They do 16? No, and their first shot is 1 swipe, right? Not 2. So they'll do... They hit for 8. If I'm not mistaken, they'll hit for 8 instead of hitting for 16 on the first hit. And then from there, you got 24. What's the health of a Marine? Health of a Marine's 50, right? Or 60 with shields. So it's 24, 40. It's not 5, isn't it? No, because the first 2 count as 1. Right? So you start off with 16, 32. So if the first swipe is when it touches, so 16, 32 with the next 2, 48, and then 54. Does that even? There's 64. Does that even change anything? No, I don't think that changes anything. Versus Terran. Not versus the Marine. It's still 4 hits. It was 4 hits before, too. Right? Because it would have been 16. Or, yeah, it would have been 16. Or to start? I don't think this changes anything versus Marines. I'm not sure. But I'm... 8 damage would cut a swipe. Right, but that doesn't change the number of times it needs to hit, though, because both swipes happen at the same time. Yeah, but now it's still 8 impact, but it just takes a swipe. Yeah. So now it's 4 attacks, whereas before it was impact and then 3 attacks. But does that change anything versus Terran? You're not considering stim? Oh, because movement speed? Oh, the -10. Oh, yeah. Right, so it would be 50 health. So it would be down to 48. Right, you're correct. Yeah. No, you're right. So if you're comparing it against non-stimmed Marines, it's actually exactly the same. But if you're comparing it to stimmed Marines, it's 1 more attack. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Yeah, makes sense. I'm in agreement with that. Sure. Interesting. I didn't think about it that way. I was only thinking about against the base health. I don't. How does it fare against a Marauder now? $125. Has 1 armor. Seven swipes now 8. Right. I wonder if it's changes versus base health too. It depends on the number, right? 125 is like this weird, a weird number. But no, like this makes sense. Any less damage changes things a lot, though. It's usually not just zealots hitting your bio. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. No, this is good. I think this change is weak, but combined with these two changes, I think this is fine. I hope they do this. I think that's where I'm at right now. I think this is better than the other one. I think this is better than the other one. Between this and the stim change, I think that PvT is going to get really interesting. It'll change the matchup a lot. Because this directly affects the efficacy of doing... Wait, why would you rather number 1 though? I don't understand why you would want that. I understand why you would want it in the sense that like of game design, but I think in the current matchups this is a better change. Like in the current state of TVP. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, okay, sure. But if you look at the current matchups, this is better. I think. This change is the only one I think is really like a big change. Yeah, I guess you're right. Number 2 won't make a difference, mate. That 8 damage is a huge deal. It's a huge deal, and like, it's like really not as good to go charge out Stalker anymore. I don't think. Whereas I don't think that War Prism change really changes charge out Stalker at all. Why do they insist on Prism being pure minerals? I don't know. I imagine they're only doing pure minerals because they're also nerfing the pickup range. If they weren't going to nerf the pickup range, this would have been 250 instead, or 200, 100 or something. I think. But they're actually nerfing the unit itself. Yeah, I probably agree that change number 1 is a better game design decision. But I don't know if this is like, I don't know if that's a change you want to make pre-BlizzCon. Like, we're getting close now. I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe. But we're too far into it now. I don't even think that's not even a worthwhile conversation at the moment. The matchups need to be fixed here first before they do anything else. Maybe that's why I think change number 2 is better. It actually addresses the state of the matchup at the moment. No, but what I'm getting at is that people's jobs are on the line. You can't just change the economy right now. you have to actually fucking fix the matchups, and then at BlizzCon you could test something like that. You can't test this now. You can't test that now. Yeah, they did for Legacy of the Void, but that released after BlizzCon. I don't. Sure, okay, then I agree. I mean, they could test whatever they want. I don't care. But at the moment, I think this is the best change for the game as it is. I think it addresses the issues that people have right now. Okay. This is the best change for my ladder games? No, I mean, my ladder games... I actually said it earlier. My ladder games, this is irrelevant. Both these changes are... Like, what does it matter what happens in my ladder games? But, I mean, right now the problems are way too many PvZ like, Protoss all-ins in PvZ, right? And charge lots are too good. And the 3-base, no gas builds are ridiculous in TVP. That change, these three changes address those two things, right? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this does the right thing. I don't know if it's, I don't know, maybe it's just me.